Alright, Improvisation Center is back again with, if you haven't already noticed, the DOB. Yep, the dirty old bastard, the 1980 Ford F100 pickup truck that we worked on a while back. When we left off with this truck, we had pulled the gas tank out because the sending unit was shot. And we couldn't put any gas in it in order to run the thing like normal. So, fast forward to today, and we have us a sending unit. And the gas tank is currently sitting on the bed of the truck, so I can install all this crap. So, once I get that in, put our tank back up, hook everything back up, eventually put enough gas in there that we'll be able to get the engine started. I'll probably put the portable fuel system on there to prime the fuel lines so we don't overwork the fuel pump on the engine trying to suck the shit from the tank through a dry line. So there's that. Another thing that we have to do on this truck is install a proportioning valve, because the last time I remember driving this truck many years ago, it had that type of braking where one end was a little bit stronger than the other, which would imply that the proportioning valve was not allowing the rear brakes to grab like they were supposed to, so the thing would actually try to stop instead of trying to stop while the rear wheels are still trying to push. So have to put a proportioning valve in there, make sure that everything is bled, or at least full of oil, because I'll probably try to see if there's a way I could put oil in the proportioning valve prior to getting it in there, enough so to be able to put it in there and not have to worry about bleeding too much. Then we could go ahead, get gas in there, get the engine running and stuff, do any fine tuning that may need to be done to allow this thing to start up easy, run at a decent idle, go into gear in a decent idle, and actually drive like normal. Sort of like how we've been doing with the 84 F150, trying to get it to a state of convenient drivability, if that's a term, because our buddy who this truck belongs to, he's going to be needing this truck pretty soon, and we would like to get this thing up and running for him, if for no other reason to get it out of the way, because as you can see, one of our passageways is currently blocked by this truck and the Mercedes over there. So let me shut up and get to work. Stand by. That there is situated. Had a little bit of confusion there for a second because there's little tabs in there that help guide the sending unit into the hole here, but they're not dead center, they're kind of off center a little bit, so you really can only put this thing on one way. So yeah, the sending unit's in. Now got the pleasure of putting this tank on the ground, sliding on the ground and under the truck to put this back up. First I have to do a wasp check so I don't slide up under there and get tagged. So I'll be right back. As usual, stand by. Okay, got our tank under the truck. Now we have the pleasure of trying to get everything hooked up and staged straight enough to get it up in the truck. At least it's not full of gas though, so we could probably get away without having to use jacks and shit. So let's go. Another strap on there to hold the filler tube. Filler tube right here needs another strap to hold it up so it doesn't do this shit here. But for the most part, we're going to use our filler tube as a way of holding this damn tank up so I can get in here and put all the other shit in place. Get that somewhere staged. See if we can get some of this by feel. Got to put this damn vent tube cap thingy in, and it don't go in by just simply snapping it. You got to work this little flare around. I think we're in. Pretty much. Got that garbage in. Now I can get the tank back up again. Well, I got one strap on, the back strap here. Had to do something a little different that apparently somebody else probably did, but that was use one of these other holes. Kind of off center a bit, but I would have thought that was the hole for the bolt, because they are long ass bolts, and I don't even think these are the original ones, but I ended up just scooting over to one of these other holes on the side and securing it. So I got a couple hoses to put on, one more strap, and we can call this tank installed. So let me put this camera down, because there's no way in hell to aim this thing while being up under here like this. So stand by. Alright, went ahead and got some replacement hose. Let's see to get to a good spot right here. That little line right there poking out. That right there is, let's go right there. That right there is the fuel tube going to the front. And we got our rubber hose attached there. And let's see if we get to a good spot right here. Oh, shit. There's our sending unit with the other end of the hose attached. So that's all straight. So we should be all good, right? Well, not exactly. Because of that right there, bottom of the gas tank, we have pinholes, small friggin' pinholes right there. So this means I'm gonna have to get some epoxy goop in order to patch these damn pinholes right here, so I could actually put some gas in here and not have it just piss out. So yeah, another little stupid problem that popped up all of a sudden. But in the meantime, we're going to move on to our proportion valve. Okay, there's our proportion valve right there. That crap right there with all the brake lines sticking out of it and the one little plug sticking out of it. That has to go. We got our new one right here. Looks a little different, but all the ports are in the right spots along with the mounting spots. Everything's in the right spot, so everything should be good. What I would like to do is take these two lines right here and change them out first, and then see if I can get some brake oil in here in these top ports right here, so oil could get inside this unit and hopefully displace enough air that when I put the other tubes on here, all this stuff will be filled up with enough oil that we shouldn't have to bleed this crap. So I'm gonna go ahead, get set up, and we're gonna get this crap changed out. Okay, I got the new proportioning valve in, but there's a slight problem. as is always the case when we buy this aftermarket generic shit online, the idea that one of our ports does not match. This one right here. This here is a slight bit too small. Now, luckily, I have one right here that does fit that shit right there. But this means I gotta cut the flare off, pull this fitting off, put the new one on, reflare the damn end of this tube, and put the shit together. This sucks. Let me get this done. Okay, we've managed to get all our lines secured with a little bit of effort because these flared fittings, as usual, are a pain in the ass. But we got them in. There's one more little thing that I got to address, is the little nipple for the plug there. Our stock plug is a 2-prong, as is the case. Knocking stuff down. Our stock shit is 2-prong. Let's see, right there. That one, the new unit, is 1. So I'm going to have to swap these heads around in order to plug our emergency brake, well, our brake bad switch, whatever the hell you want, safety switch, whatever. I'm tired. Got to change that shit out, swap it with the old one. So let me get that done. Yep. We are not going to have the little safety switch because this shit's a different size. So what happens when you use generic damn parts? Roll the dice that you might get something that'll fit like it's supposed to, and sometimes you'll get some shit that fits nowhere near like it's supposed to. So yeah, put some more oil in this reservoir. Hopefully this shit will bleed on down through everything. So hopefully we won't have to bleed anything. Let me do that real quick. Let this sit overnight, so maybe gravity will do its job and make some of this shit move around and settle back in, where hopefully we won't have much air to deal with. But for all intents, we have our proportioning valve issue resolved, other than that brake switch situation. So like I say, we're going to let this brake oil set overnight. Hopefully gravity will do its job for me and I won't have to bleed this shit. So probably give it a little test tomorrow after I check everything to make sure that oil is where it's supposed to be. Then once we clear the brakes, I'm going to move on and try to patch up this gas tank so we can get some gas in here and start this pile. So stand by. Alright, managed to get a little tube of this stuff called tank weld, made specifically for patching gas tanks. It's just an epoxy. Stuff is like clay, but it's 2-part, as what epoxy is by definition. And what you're really supposed to do is cut off a small piece, or however much you need,
and then just knead it together until both parts, which one part, let me get this tape off here, get it out of the tube. You can see here the core of it is black, and you got this outer gray, light gray portion. After you break off the amount you need, you mix it all up, knead it together until it's a uniform darker gray color, and then slap it up underneath the gas tank where the hole is at. Now that's where our hole is at, right here. Go ahead and wipe this shit clean, just so we can verify there are no other little pinholes. That will not do us any good to patch one to find out there's another. So, get this nice and clean, even though it doesn't specifically say so. I like it to be nice and clean so we can get proper adhesion. So that area right there is our target area. Get it a little more clean. Next thing I'm gonna do, go back to our tube of stuff. Cut us a little smidge of this shit. See, get that done there. Don't really need a whole lot. And then start mixing. Go ahead and mix it all together real good. Try not to get too much all on the hands. Don't want to waste any of it. You can see the black stuff is starting to mix with the gray stuff. So just keep on mixing, kneading, whatever term you want to use. As you can see, it's a slightly darker gray compared to this. Get it mixed a little more. Our spot there starting to have a little bit more dribble right there, so I'm going to wipe that clean right before I slap this up there. So get this. Sometimes I like to overkill on things to ensure that we get things the way we want. Now this epoxy, once it's well mixed, it starts heating up. It's just like Bondo and a lot of these other two-part things. The chemical reaction starts, it starts heating up on you. So go ahead and get this clear, and then we go ahead and slap that up there real good. Spread it out. Make sure we got a good coverage all around the hole. Nice thick plugs, so once this cures, this shit should ensure our gas tank is well sealed, or at least sealed enough that we should not see any more dribbles, especially when there's a full tank of gas in here. So, and that's another reason why I want to clean the surface, because you want this stuff to be stuck on here real good, so while it sets, it's not going to just pop off or start peeling back. But yeah, okay, so got our plug on there. Puppy should be ready to go. Go ahead and cap off our remaining stuff. Only thing that sucks about this shit is you almost have to use it up shortly after you really get it started, because it's almost like once it exposes itself to air, it's on a clock. Slow clock, but a clock nonetheless. So we got our plug on here. We'll let this stuff set overnight before we put any gas in here. Now go back to the brakes, see if we're good on that end. Stand by. Well, had to hook up our portable fuel system in a way to use the pump as, well, a pump to try to draw fuel through the fuel lines after I put the new tank and everything in there.
gotta essentially prime the system. That's what we're going to do now. Already got some runtime in, but we got some spitting action there, so we know we got plenty of juice in the lines, so I can go ahead and put all this crap back together the right way, get this thing out of the way, and see if this shit'll start. In order to try to get to the bolt for the distributor so I could tweak the timing, I had to remove the entire AC compressor because, yep, Ford design. So, got the distributor loosened up so I can at least get in there, tweak the timing a little bit, see how this thing acts now. Well, because our Holly had a fuel leak around the accelerator pump around here, had to address that. Can't let a leaky carburetor roll out of here because burning down cars ain't really part of my interests here. So yeah, took the carb off, rebuilt it, did another backyard rebuild with a little cheapo kit, which really is nothing but a bunch of gaskets and miscellaneous parts. Of course, again, with the cheapo kits, a lot of stuff doesn't match up, but really the biggest thing here was just changing out the gaskets because the carburetor technically ran. It just had an issue with the damn leakage and shit. So we took care of that, and now just have to put this shit back in and start it back up again. So get to that. wide open choke. Wide open choke. Seems like it wants to have a little bit of a hesitation, but the only real way to find out if everything is straight is to drive this thing. So that's what we're gonna do. Got a little more juice there. Didn't hiccup that time. Brakes are still good. Still smoking like a freight train. Somebody's got to be coming, of course. They're gonna have to slow the fuck down because hey, it got some tire spinning action there. Little fucker's got a little juice to it now. Woohoo! Slow down, motherfucker. Woohoo! Well, first test drive after the rebuild seemed like it worked out pretty good. Do a quick peek under the hood, see how everything is going. Make sure we ain't ready to create a napalm bomb here with a bad carb. Dry as the Sahara Desert, not a drop of gas anywhere. Nice. I think we actually got a winner now. Carb is straight. Other than a little smoky action we got there, that's something we're not going to be able to address without rebuilding the engine, and that's not going to happen. But yeah, only thing I can do now is put more gas in this thing and put this thing through some more extensive driving for distance, see how she fares, and then button up some of the other little things, put our AC compressor back on, all that good shit. So we're gonna go ahead and get that started as well. Stand by. All right, been a second since we last worked on the DOB, and the little patch that I done on the gas tank, well, it didn't hold for anything. It started leaking right there, and all our gas went out. So rather than continue to try to patch this thing in vain, just went and got another gas tank. So yeah, gotta go ahead and throw this thing in here. But also in the meantime, I did take a moment to address some electrical gremlins, so all the lights are working on here. We could look at that later, but I gotta get a gas tank in because, well, we're not going to be able to run without gas, so stand by. All right, we got our gas tank in, strapped in, everything's fastened up to it. So now, next thing we could do is dump some gas in here and fire this piece of crap back up again. So let's go ahead and do that next. All right, we got old Smokey running and smoking, but as you can tell, she's running just fine. So yeah, I guess our next move is going to be to test drive this thing just to see how she still runs. Go ahead and make a loop around the block, so to speak. Stand by. Well, there it is. A little quick drive around. Nothing special, nothing impressive. Got a lot of wheel hop in the front because these wheels are old and I'm sure they're well out of balance and warped and all that, so it couldn't exactly go fast. But that's a whole nother thing to address, a normal thing in fact, changing tires, but whatever. The truck does run. It's not as smoky as it is now. It seemed like it cleared up a smidge. I guess it just had to get itself loosened up again. But yeah. Anyway, we're more or less done with this thing for now. I mean, nothing else we could really do to it. It's just an old work truck, farm truck, whatever you want to do with it. So yeah, we're gonna leave it off there. More than likely this truck is gonna be making its way back to its owner's home because, well, we got enough trucks around here to deal with. We don't need another one around here to tackle with. So, like I say, this is probably going to be the last time we'll see DOB around here. So, let's have a moment of silence for DOB. Yep, until the next time, as usual, like, subscribe, notifications, TikTok, website, all that good stuff. And stay tuned for more car crap, garden crap, chicken crap, whatever. And I'll catch you later. I'm done.